Good morning and welcome to the 2024 Ocean Contractors Tankard Provincial and the Nova Scotia Scotties Provincial Playdowns at the Halifax Curling Club. At the end of this weekend, we'll declare our Nova Scotia representatives for the 2024 Montana's Brier and the Scotties Tournament of Heart. Today's featured matchup is between Team Purcell and Team MacLeod. I'm your host, Hugh Avery. With me today is Mike Bardsley. Mike, should be a great game.
Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, looking forward to it. This is two great teams, one with a ton of experience and one team that came real close to winning the whole thing last year.
Yeah, you get the number one ranked team, Purcell. I'm just looking at their schedule this year. They've played a lot of tournaments against the number 8 seed, MacLeod, but scary 8 matchup to 1-8 matchup early on for the number 1 seed to play that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Glennie and his squad have won an awful lot of curling games in their day, and I was reminded how good he normally plays in the first days of events. So you got a veteran team here when the ice is fresh and everybody's not 100% confident where to put the broom down. A real tough matchup out of the gate for Purcell.
Yeah. Let's see if they get right into the swing of things or double guard. I'm not sure what the call was, but
looks like they're going in with this one.
Going in?
Yep.
All right, just
We're good.
top post.
We're good, Glenn.
Okay.
We're top house.
So just to fill everybody in, this
Get
is
it pretty
this is
good.
our first draw of the 2024
four.
championships, and we're down at 948 South Bland Street. They're both the Tankard and Scotties going on at the same time this week, and so the early draws will feature 2 men's games and 2 women's games. So on the other sheets we have on sheet 1 Team Fleming against Team Everest, and on the women's games our number 1 seed Team Black, defending champs. They're against, I think it's Team McNutt, and on sheet 4 it's Team McDermott playing Team Hilliard. So lots of good matchups. If you're able to come down and join us, free admission all week. So lots of activities down here. So lots to see.
It's such a great curling club with a great atmosphere in an interesting location, great history, and the best ice in the province. So it's going to set us up for a really good championship.
Yeah,
Line's good.
good ice. We're using provincial rocks. So most of these teams, Mike, have played with these rocks before. I'm sure they all have a book on them and they know how they perform. So just listening to some of the teams earlier on before, they knew which rocks they were looking for, so they have a bit of history.
Okay.
I always wondered how well that history carries over year to year. You're never 100% sure until you're a couple of draws into the tournament which rocks suit your style and which ones don't.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just miss and want to blame something other than yourself and kick that rock away.
That's right. That's right.
Lead, clean.
This is lead Adam McEachran.
Curl the whole way. Take lead.
Nice weight control there on that shot. Nice good throws from Adam.
Okay.
Board.
So just looking for a quiet board shot, I think, Mike. Looking for a little bit of a roll maybe behind that by the center.
I think Chef can find a way to get it under there. That's always a favorite shot for curlers when you know the ice is good and you can throw just a little board weight with your out turn. That's I'd say that's a high percentage shot for a lot of these guys.
Good throw.
Pretty good from Kev there. I'm going to be watching a rule that's still not entirely familiar to me, but could have come into play there, is the no-tick rule, where they can't move that rock off the center. So you, especially in the first end, you don't want to get too close to toying with that guard and end up with a completely useless rock.
Wow, weight's good.
Less than mine.
Wow. Carl.
Yeah, it's we've discussed that when we had our Stu Sells tournament here back in November. That new rule and just the punishment for just being a little bit off is quite drastic. If you rub that just slightly, I mean, it's, if you're looking at the percentage of a shot, you probably missed it by like a fraction of a percent. and you're getting penalized. It's pretty extreme, the penalty involved.
Absolutely. I like it less so to eliminate the tick from the game, but just as a front end player, the intensity on those first rocks and really trying to place that lead rock and have it touch the line, put your team at a much better spot to start the game.
A little bit, Peter.
A little bit of a
Throw,
roll
Kev.
there. Yeah, I think to be honest, earlier on I was a little hesitant about it, thinking the punishment was too much. But I think you're bang on in that it does force that the lead just to be a little bit more in it, if you will, or just like that makes that shot even more significant. And sometimes, certainly not so much in the past few years, but previously, lead shots, you put your weaker curler at lead, but those shots are even more critical now than they've ever been.
Yeah, and even on the sweepers, with the abilities now to be able to carve the rock or keep it straight, to be able to make sure that rock is touching the center line is almost as important now as being able to place one top four to start an end.
I agree. It's really allowing people to showcase some skills that are there. So.
Yeah. Pretty good clean start to this game by both front ends. Really nothing to pick apart yet.
Hard, Kev. Hard.
The other team getting that role that they've been looking for. Owen now looking to get the big roll behind that corner guard.
I think I'm not sure that short roll stays in the house, or maybe just gives Glenn a little bit of stagger to draw behind. They want to be able to keep that short run back in play. I just heard Adam tell Ryan that it's real straight, so I think they're adjusting slowly by tightening up that boom here. This one looks pretty close.
Hard, follow the blue.
Might roll a little too much. Might hang on.
Oh, I find that happens a lot.
You're fucking kidding.
Hung it on back there, did he?
No, it didn't roll back on, I don't think.
No, we're not kidding you, Glenn. That happens so often. You get a teammate tell you it's straight in the best of intentions, and you just the tendency there might just be to twist it in a little bit to make sure you get that long roll.
So, veteran of the game here, Craig Burgess, come around and take advantage of this opportunity to plunk one in behind that center guard.
Yep. Peter!
Go, Pete! Go.
Hard, guys.
Getting close to that center guard.
Making the boys work hard.
It was a little light, I think, and
At 56 on that.
got to the center line.
Would have been
quicker.
pretty close to top 12.
It's great to see curl like this when weight control is probably more important than where you release it in terms of hitting the broom.
Right. Well, what I like about it, the speed and the curl is that every shot is possible now.
Top 8.
Right, and you can do a lot of things that you wouldn't naturally see on
Top 8.
some ice that's probably a little slower, a little straighter.
All right.
Makes for some entertainment with the 5 rock rule and not being able to tick guards, and you got sweepers of this caliber and players of this caliber. Maybe not highlighted by that shot, but hey, it happens.
Yeah, that one went big, and now Glenn has a really great opportunity to come around a stagger of guards on the center and put some pressure on Owen early on in the game.
That was the first intern up that side too. I know they did their draw to the button that Purcell managed to win, but sometimes going that other direction, it's just a couple of feet slower than you might expect if you've got that draw to the button time in your head.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'll give it that release too out here.
What's that?
I'll give it that same release.
Yeah,
Get
good
some hang
rotation.
time.
You see here, Glenn, I'm not sure how well it comes through for our viewers, but Glenn saying he wants to throw about his draw to the button pace out here on this wide out turn.
So both teams get some practice before these games, and they'll do their last draw to determine who is the hammer. And so they just did that a few minutes ago. So Glenn should know the weight.
Line's good.
He'll have that in his back pocket for the whole tournament too. You can bank on that.
Good. It's good. That's good.
He'll be tough to beat drawn like that.
Good judge,
Question.
boy.
That's a perfect shot by Glenn.
That's a great shot. It's top of the forefoot, and Owen recognizes how good that is and is going to try to clean this up to make sure he has a path.
Yeah, he can just clear it out with this shot. They've just got to set himself up for hopefully something on his last.
Well, what happened on Ryan's last shot when he rubbed that center guard? He rolled over to that path where it almost takes away that draw, the in-turn draw to the button.
And not only that, but it also ticked it under that yellow one, so
Right.
the straight back Owen doesn't have a chance to clear the house here.
Yeah.
So all coming up yellow on these last couple rocks.
Clean.
That's pretty routine for Owen. He throws those really nice,
Yeah.
effortless.
No, I'm okay.
I'll be curious here with Glenn. He's got a couple options.
That's why Glenn didn't hit
He's
it.
going right in.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
might
didn't go
think
over top, but
put
from
it
the
up
angle when we were
put up a
close to the
guard
wings, it looked like it was
and putting one in that back spot hidden.
Back four.
Back four?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
his ideal
other
is
shot
he
was
doesn't want to
Jared,
let
but it
Owen
just gives
get
him
a
a run
nose
through
hit.
that
He's going
he-
to want to make him
Good
hit
for a
and roll.
blank.
And if there's two
Okay.
rocks in the
So
house,
this is a better chance
in the
at,
first end of the first
four.
game, pretty
Yeah.
unlikely that Owen is going to draw against the two. So you put this in a
Back
tough
four
spot
means,
where
no
it's a
hits, no
tough
good
one
for him,
for
right?
Owen. If you can steal
Right.
that first
Yeah,
point,
yeah. Full back four. See if we can get
be
it
a good
buried.
start for these guys.
Yeah, and you know, if Glenn doesn't put that guard up perfectly, a lot of people would naturally think just guard it. And if Glenn doesn't put that guard up, then Owen's going to have a shot to blank the end. And this one will, I think, Glenn will be happy if
Yeah.
forces Owen to
Should be
one.
good then.
But
Could be a factor not knowing if that back rock is in too.
We definitely want a little deeper.
Our camera angle is at a bit of an angle, so hard to tell as opposed to being out there. That's just two perfect draws for Glenn. A little deeper might have been nice, but those were real good.
Good rush, guys.
Good job.
Close.
yeah, no,
Little
I think a
deeper.
really dandy little shot. Do you try the double or do you try to draw down to it?
It's definitely a harder shot for the blank.
I'd be curious. I think the double still, he can still blank it.
I think he
Technically,
can
comes
blank it.
across
Yeah,
top,
I think that's what you're going to see him try is the double and try to blank.
You'd throw the shot too, knowing that even if you gave up a steal of one in the first end, especially in these 10-end games, it's really
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
throwing the in-turn
but,
or out-turn?
You still never want to give anything away to a team like this.
You ever like a... Yeah, exactly. Do you ever like a sliver more ice or?
That is more than I had before.
Okay.
I like that, bro.
Okay. Nice positive throw, bud. You'll get some movement off the line.
Intern thin half.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, he's
Hard to
close
blow.
as expected.
Slippery.
And the shooter sticks around.
Greasy.
Yeah, good one.
He'll take that. Glenn will be happy with that, forcing them to one. And
Good end.
Well played end overall. They just, each team got caught up in the throwing those draws in there. There's those consecutive draws that came up light.
Yeah.
it certainly looked like the in-turn going that way looked to be curling a little more than the out-turn. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if that stays that way. I think they were all coming up short on that roll that they were looking for, but then on the in-turn it moved hard. So we'll keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example of a shot. A couple
Good
of
one,
games into this, where you'll see them make that routinely, but when you're talking first game, first end,
Right.
you're just not gonna
Right.
you're not gonna mess around.
Right.
Pro side, as they say. to try to keep an eye on what rocks these guys are throwing too, because as this event gets a little bit later and people go out to the patch, you might be able to make a little bit of money if you've got a good track on which rocks everybody's throwing and which ones are tracking the best down the sheet.
Right.
At least get a beer bought for you.
Ryan's rock. Ryan's rock.
Ryan's rock. Line's getting really
Let's
good.
see if they can get this placed. Oh, it looks like they're drawing in here.
Yeah, they're drawing in. Is the indication by Owen.
Good shot, Adam.
So Adam and Owen, they've played together for a while. They were part of the team that you mentioned, I think runner-up last year against Team Manual, the defending champs. And so I think Adam and Owen have curled together for quite a bit of time. And Scott and Ryan played together last year with Paul Fleming. So a couple of members from two other teams coming together, and really good squad.
Line's good.
Yeah.
Scott's a great addition.
I don't. I'm not convinced
for
that
this team. You know, he's played. He had his
You guys didn't
long
switch
stretch
back,
where he
right?
was
Like,
trying to find
Oh,
his
yeah,
game
I'm
in this
not
province,
convinced
and
that
then
there.
between playing with Murphy and with Paul,
right to the center line.
and now with Owen, I mean, he's proven himself as a guy you want to have on your team if you want to win.
Yeah, I think he adds a really good addition
we could
to this
probably wait
team.
a
They're
little longer to
really
call it
young
rather
guys,
than-
and not to say that Scott's old. I wish I was still Scott's age, but he gives that some of that experience and that he gained with Murphy and Fleming. So, really great addition.
Yeah, good thrower. Definitely one of the best sweepers in the province, and just a handsome man overall. Devilishly good
Line's
looking.
good. Okay, Scott's in. Scott's in.
Good throw, Pete.
Okay, switch now.
Great set there by Adam. Those are that's textbook lead throws right there.
Yeah, he's put them exactly where he was asked. So, we'll give him a 4 for 4 on both of those shots. So.
Scott just, you won't see it on camera, Scott just swished his gripper into the garbage can. So we'll see if he can find that without affecting their time clock.
It's these little things behind the scenes
Line's
that
good.
Absolutely.
Line's good.
This one's coming in a little bit
A little
hot for
warm.
Peter, yeah. If Russ Howard was here, he would probably chime in how those corner guards going away always track a little bit faster
throw.
than the draws to the middle. Almost seems like they go downhill sometimes, except when they're light and you're sweeping, and it feels like they're running out of rings all the time.
Right. So Owen has a decision here. Does he ignore that? I think he is, and he's looking to come in.
I think that rock of Peters is deep enough that it's not really a threat for Owen just yet.
Top four.
If they can get one in here, just touching the top of the forefoot and touching the
stay
center
close.
line, they're in a
Back
pretty,
forward, back
pretty
in.
dangerous
Going
starting
here.
position.
Close. Yeah.
This one's
Okay,
a
line's
little
good.
warmer than they want.
Line's good.
I'm going to bring it to the back 4, I think.
Gotta stop. No, weight's fine. You're just back 4, back 8.
That's okay.
Could be seeing a little bit of adjustment both from Peter and from Scott after seeing the draws come up light in the last end. You know, maybe they're just subconsciously trying to put 2 or 3 more feet on there.
Whoa. Peter. Peter. Okay.
This will be the difference between these two teams that Glenn and his squad are going to have to figure out. I think Purcell's team,
Iris
when
okay
you get
now,
into
Scotty?
that bigger weight and those
Right.
run backs, especially with the amount that they've played and the competition that they're playing against, that shot really gets made almost as routinely as open hits.
Right.
Whereas this more seasoned generation that are representing the MacLeod League, those don't come as easy.
Yeah, it's a definite advantage to Team Purcell right now to play those big weight shots, and
Yes, Curl, gotta go, doesn't matter. Really
But
gotta
nothing saying that Chef and Craig can't rip
Right.
6 or 7 in a row of those. You know, but over the course of the event, you can count on Purcell making a few more here and there.
Same.
Nice shot by Scott there.
Out turn.
Yep.
This is the second.
Can't find it in the garbage can.
Kevin Ouellette. Oh, he can't find his.
He's looking for it.
Craig.
Kevin Ouellette, the new.
Okay.
A little wide on that one. Kevin, the new high performance director for Nova Scotia Curling Association. So, really good addition to the provincial group, and I see him out here quite often working with a lot of the younger players, and just really the positivity that he brings to a game is really impressive, and it's really great to see him work with a lot of the youth and just
Pretty high.
instilling that sort of thought
Hey,
process
line's
and
good.
keeping the game positive.
Real high.
Great mentor for anybody coming up in this game, and also the fifth/coach extraordinaire, going to almost every Brier and now going to the World Seniors after with Paul Fleming's team that just
nice.
recently won that championship.
Sorry.
I did not hear that he was going to be the fifth for that team. Great addition. He's such a positive guy. This one over curled a little more than they'd
Well,
hoped,
you can't roll
Mike.
too
So
far.
chance for Glenn to get out of this. Sit a couple of yellow stones in there.
We're playing the nose.
Yeah, that's
Forward.
And Craig Burgess, two-time Brier runner-up, world junior champion.
Kevin.
Definitely the most successful bloodline amongst Nova Scotia curlers. Like, just really unbelievable between his daughter and his brothers. The amount of curling wins in that family and the tenure that they've had is pretty incredible. Really proud to represent the Truro Curling Club and have been ambassadors of that club in this game for a long time.
Yeah, just a good all-around family in the sport. They've been really a great addition. So Owens had a choice there to those two yellow stones. Mike are hanging on for Glenn, but Owen's going to ignore it and come around the center again.
Yeah, that wasn't maybe the way Craig exactly intended that to go, but if it is hanging around in the back, it puts a lot more pressure on Ryan's draw here to get into the good
really
spot.
needs to curl.
They're getting a little caught in this spot. It seems a little quicker and straighter than both teams are expecting.
Okay.
It's a nice shot, though.
I know Team Purcell, just before this event on this past weekend, Team Purcell was in Duluth, Minnesota, playing in a tournament, and we're in the semifinals, in control of the game actually, up by 3, playing the 7th end, and gave up a 5. And it was a lot of those hanger-ons at just on the outside, and just Owen didn't quite make his last shot and opened up the big score.
Well, let's go glass half full with that one and say Owen would rather give up that 5 then and learn from it for this week.
That's right.
As opposed to giving it up in this end.
Yeah.
Line is close, but I don't mind tightening it up a hair because we're never going for it straight, right?
And a miss there by Craig, and
yeah, I don't have a beat on why, but this spot seems to be tricky. There's been a lot of half shots down this stretch.
Yeah, it was moving with the draw weight and that little bit extra, right? It was hanging a little. It was hanging a little straighter, and I think it's catching them all off guard, and that's a bit of a miss in that you didn't eliminate any of the Purcell rocks, and so it kind of nullifies those 2 yellows now, and Owen can certainly put a lot of pressure on Glenn.
The concern of giving up a multiple 3, 4, or 5 is definitely
really good here. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, gets rid of that.
I always loved the tuck delivery. I was never, ever close to that, and it was out of vogue by the time I started. But when you see somebody like Owen who can throw a nice, controlled, straight tuck delivery, it feels like maybe the best way to throw a curling rod.
Line's really good.
There's been a few successful players using that delivery, so seems to work.
They all get low now. I think that's the difference, whether you're flat-footed
right,
or like a Mark Nichols or a Mark Kennedy where you get kind of like half up, or you go full tuck. There are very, very few curlers now who have that
What way?
full upright
Right.
kind of Russ Howard
Right.
delivery
Exactly.
style.
That's
Showing half
exactly
on
what I
this
was thinking
side's
of.
pretty good,
You
though.
You
get
were saying
you
it.
get Brad Gushu might be kind of the end of the line for
Right.
that elite curler that's
Well,
still
That's at a
up
more
high
upright
over,
position. Yeah.
until you
Yeah,
get into
I
your
guess
40s and your 50s, and your
Showing
body
him
just
a
won't
piece
let you go
here
down
is
there.
fine. Showing him a piece here is.
Yeah, I don't know if I tried that tuck
I guess
delivery
we
of
could
O,
always
and I might
track
know if
and
I'd
roll
walk
somebody.
again. So,
That's about draw to the button, eh?
He made a nice draw in there. Might have liked it another rock or so deeper, but that keeps the pressure on Glenn big time here.
Draw behind it.
You were talking about how the swing opens up all the shots. This is a perfect example. If this ice was only curling 2 feet or was curling a little bit less, he'd probably have to play a really soft bump and tap under. But in this case, he's drawn around a rock that's top 8, trying to get shot touching the button. So I think Glenn feels like he can maybe bury half of this rock, which is a testament to the ice and sets us up for a great week if it stays like that. And shots like that are always possible.
Adam can keep it like that. That's exactly what we're aiming for, and allow these folks who put a lot of training into the sport to do make all those shots possible. So.
Whoa!
This one's a little heavier than what they wanted.
Yep. Chef's letting them know though. Craig's got a good idea where this rock's going to go.
I can get it out, yeah. Spiel? Right there.
It's not bad. Owen's going to have to play it, and Owen's going to try to pick that out, and Glenn will be facing 3, and he'll just have the same shot over again.
I don't even think Owen minds if he loses the back one here and just makes it a little bit simpler to score his deuce.
Is there any threat of a jam on that, Mike?
Oh, sorry. Here, I was talking about Purcell scoring a deuce. MacLeod's got hammer.
Yeah, MacLeod
never
has
mind that.
Probably shouldn't jam on that side one if he picks if he gets too tight on that. I don't think. Be close.
I don't know, but much like pool, angles in this game have always confused me a little bit. That's probably why they stick the second stone and make the sweep card.
I think he's good here.
Great shot.
So Glenn will be asked to repeat that shot, and no backing this time, so he's going to have to draw to the 4 foot. He should have that.
That'll be interesting. This is the spot. I mean, he was heavy on the last one, and we saw a couple rocks come a little bit deep here. So, not sure if this is going to be the exact same number in his head, but he did do the draw to the button here and drew full 4 foot. So I'm sure he's got that in the back of his mind, and he's ready to.
Yeah, this is his draw to the button. Same line, same turn. So.
Definitely a comfortable feeling, not just for the thrower, but for the sweepers too. When you know exactly what split you're looking for, and you know what that throw needs to look like.
We got T. We got T.
Kev likes it.
At the end, needed. We got T. We got T. We got T.
Love that. Clean to the button.
Good throw, good call. Never in doubt on that one. So great shot by Glenn MacLeod to tie this game up 1-1. We'll start over again. An 8-end game we have. Some updates on the other sheets, just to keep everybody informed. We're streaming 2 games per draw. The other game is the Team Black versus Team McNutt. Black takes a 3 in the first end to go up 3-0. Just had a score of 2 by Team Fleming on sheet 1. They'll go up 2-0 over Team Everest. And then I think Team McDermott scored 1 on sheet 4. They're up 1-0 over Team Hilliard. And they're in the third end. So
there's a lot of work here in the booth. I thought I'd be watching some other games as I go.
Yeah, we have it's a lot of action going on. It's funny, Mike, while we prep for these events, lots of volunteers obviously to run these sort of events, and one of the things is timing, and I And I tell folks I could never be a game timer because I'm always watching other games anyhow. So I always lose track.
We have some lovely timers beside us, and I was talking to them from a player's perspective, wondering if they're feeling the same pressure that we feel when that clock is ticking down toward the end of the game.
Right.
The answer was yes.
Yeah.
That one
A little
behaved.
light by Neely there.
No busting movements on the
You know, you
draw.
mentioned all the volunteers, and it is a ton of volunteer effort. I was talking to some of the players. Really, really nice to see Ocean Contracting step in, and John and Scott Fleming contributing to this event and recognizing how important it is for these curlers, having this live stream and all this setup behind us and around us. It really feels like the size of event that it feels like for the curlers out there. This is the most important week in their calendar for the vast majority of these players, and it's really tremendous to see what Halifax is putting on here with the experience with the online streaming, the live entertainment that everybody should come check out. When you get tired of listening to Hugh and I coming up to the club and grabbing a beverage and watching some of this action live, is highly recommended. Tankard Week is a very, very special week for curlers and fans.
Yeah, we're really happy. Obviously, Kruger Products has been supporting women's curling for a long time, but to have Ocean Contractors on being the title sponsor for the Tankard is fantastic. I know they've supported some teams in the past, but to have them as the title sponsor for our premier event is fantastic, and really want to thank all our sponsors and just ask everybody out there, just think of those organizations when you're making some decisions. These are the people who are giving a lot to our sport that we all love so much. So it's really important that we show some love back to them.
Is it not just gonna
There's always been some envy in the best possible way on the men's side that they had such a tremendous sponsor with Scotty's for so many years. I mean, it's over 40 years now. It has really set up women's curling on the national scene and supporting them on the provincial side as well. It's just an incredible commitment by Kruger and Scotty's to stay strong with this curling support.
Whoa. Close. Lead, yeah. Hard.
Okay, curl. This way. Okay.
Not sure if that was the called shot or if they were trying to hit the side and roll behind the corner.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do, was make the double and roll. So,
Control.
in addition to our sponsors, want to thank a lot of our volunteers. A lot of people putting in lots of time out of their schedule. I'm gonna do a shout out to my work team, the CSS, and most of them are in Ottawa. Mike and Ryan and Lori and Connie and all the other folks. I don't know if you're listening in. You should get back to work now, but I want to thank you for allowing me to take some time off and to give back to the sport that I really love a whole lot. So a lot of folks doing that at the club this week as well, and I'm sure I know the players often will thank their family and friends and their employers for allowing them the time to do this, but also to the volunteers for the same reason. So thanks to everybody who've put in some time and those organizations who've supported us to do that.
Weight's good, 10-5.
The team behind these players, not just the logos you see on their jackets, which are incredibly important, but their families and their extended networks are crucial to play well in these events.
Good shot.
Nice shot by Scotty there.
That was a nice roll. Glenn can see, from the hack you can see probably about half of it, but pretty tough shot, so I think he's going to try the run back double.
Showing that outside half around the corner is always pretty dangerous.
It
Not
is.
much that MacLeod can do with that one. It's
No.
going to turn out well.
Yeah.
It's always good when you got the other team throwing run backs. By my count, this is Chef's third run back. This one's real close. Great shot.
A little unlucky.
Yeah, had they swept that a little bit,
I think
they
so.
might have got that out of there, but still good.
Yep.
I got.
Where are you like?
people will hear me call
15-5,
Kevin
honestly.
Willett chef.
Yeah.
No,
I know these guys
I threw
really
mine,
well. I
like,
get to spend a
here
lot of time
probably.
around them. Kevin is a chef for in the military, and so not very often we hear our friends refer to him as Kevin.
Yeah.
Pretty
I think
heavy.
he's retired. I think
Back
now.
forward.
I think you're
he
right.
just retired, and so that's why he's taken on the.
Back forward.
In retirement, he's taken on a whole new job.
Once you got the nickname
Ryan,
chef,
nice
Yeah,
though,
it's
it
there to
sticks.
stick.
It sticks.
Yeah.
That age as well.
Okay, just try to keep it like back here.
Yeah, I feel like we're.
This one didn't seem to catch the curl there.
Through.
Oh, a little warmer than.
Oh, he's heavy. No, that's fine.
Okay, good try.
Go. Take advantage, boys. I don't mind the freeze either.
That's pretty good.
I love listening to the competitiveness. Kevin was waiting for Purcell's team to open the door a little bit. You could hear him in his encouragement to Craig and Peter.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, well, Owen got the rock got.
Wade's pretty good.
There was a bit of a miss on the last shot, and it rolled, but it rolled behind the button. So there's an opportunity to freeze behind the center guard with backing. So this one's a little warm though.
Okay.
I just like this, Ryan.
Yeah, I like that. We'll get some big finish.
By the
at
way,
the
when
end.
you see it here,
Yeah, I like that. I was sophomore in the first. I wouldn't mind giving you just like a football. Board, weight's good. Board. Board.
Ryan throws a nice rock. He's got that low, just lifted heel delivery, and is listed in several people's lists as who's got the best delivery in the province of Nova Scotia. Ryan's name comes up
good shot, Ryan.
in the first few mentions every time for everybody, including Craig Burgess, who, if you ask somebody like Paul Fleming, we can't ask anybody with more expertise than that, will say nobody's ever thrown a rock in this province better than this gentleman here.
Yeah, Ryan had a fair bit of success. He's former junior champ for the province, runner-up last year at the
Kevin!
No, sorry, he wasn't the runner-up. He went with Team Manuals for fifth last year at the Briar.
I got it, Glenn. I got it.
Okay, go
It's a
hard.
nice showing for Manuel at the
You
Briar
gotta
too
go
for
hard.
the first
Kev. You
trip.
gotta go hard. Good throw.
Yeah, that's that one was
Little hit and
a
roll.
miss in the sense that
You probably need to throw 10-5.
didn't get rid of any of the Purcell stones, but Purcell can make the hit and roll, and he could be sitting three. It'd be tight to get by that back blue one, I think, Mike.
Throw 11 again, though.
Yeah, you got to try to squeeze through there. I don't know if the full roll, he'll have to throw it a little harder than they probably want to throw it to get that full perfect roll that we saw Scott get.
Same weight. Here more.
Whoa, whoa.
Same weight. Yes.
This is a classic shot for the
Same
third
weight.
stone,
Yep,
though, where
yep,
you can
yep,
really
yep.
put the other team on their heels by making this one.
Hard. Yep. Roll this way. Good shot, Ryan.
Watch this one too, right?
Yeah.
Like if we fin it, I don't know. Try to make that double, I guess.
Yeah, it's looks like a pretty straightforward straight back double, but as Glenn pointed out, Mike, a possibility of jamming that second one onto the back blue that's off the rings.
Make the double.
It should drive that back one straighter than it looks,
Yeah.
but it does depend how you hit it.
Normal weight.
Firm.
Firm.
Yeah. We haven't seen anything move too much here yet.
No. Pretty straight with the weights.
We've seen Glenn primarily drawing, so this is our first chance to see how he's feeling with a little bit of extra weight.
Yep. Oh. Yep.
On it right away. A little
That's
tight.
close.
Yep.
What he's looking for.
Little flop this way. Pretty good.
You can flop all the way.
Yeah. Kind of jams on that second one, and Owen's got a shot for looking for a hit and flop to the side, and going to force Glenn to make a really tough one. Either the double on the 2 blue and give up a deuce, concede a deuce, or hit and flop and hope.
With like a nice board. With board weight.
They didn't expect Glenn's to curl that much. He said he hadn't seen much, so whether he got that started a little bit or it caught a little bit more curl than they were expecting.
Be a little straighter than the other one, or?
It is this side straighter.
Okay.
This is the same spot you remember, Mike, in the first end when they were trying to get the little bit of roll, and they stayed pretty straight. So not surprised Owen made the comment that this side's straighter. So
now I'll be interested too, because you don't see this path worn down in pre-game practice very much.
Right.
So there would have been a little fresher pebble in the first. Whether that helps the rock stay straighter or curl, I think it depends on the day. But it's definitely worn down now, and they should have a pretty good beat on what it's doing.
Whoa. Clean.
That's gotcha.
Yeah. Whoa. Just clean it. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
2 really good sweepers in this Purcell squad.
When you throw it that good, you don't even need them. Just clean the whole way, take it.
So Glenn's going to try the little hit and flop, and
don't want to bring this into play. So
Yeah, there's a few factors here for Glenn, and there's almost
control. I think goes under.
There's not a lot of great outcomes. You're going to give Owen a pretty straightforward shot for at least a deuce here, no matter what you do. But you're going to get that. You play a team of these calibers, you're going to have to accept, especially in a 10-end game, there's going to be times where they're going to have their chances for deuces, and you just got to limit that and try to keep them away from the more crooked numbers.
Yeah. Well, if you can get one, flop it right behind that yellow, then that'll be, Owen will have a tough shot, but
Glenn just saw this path, so you should have a pretty good idea what it'll do. Maybe a little less weight than the last one.
this one's
I think
out
that's
there.
it. Anything, if he can roll to the center line, he'll be real happy here.
Curl a little bit more. He's close. Don't. Well, that's not a bad shot.
No, that's pretty good. I expect Owen will come down and try to tap it, and I think it's worth the risk to try to get 3, but that is definitely in the most risk-reward spot that Glenn could have put that rock. And by our view, it looks just a little bit more than half buried on the if he tries to play the in-turn tap. And that looks like what he's putting the broom down for. The other option, he could certainly angle his blue one in, and but that is just for 2, I believe.
Even if we jam it, we get 2, right? So I think this is the call.
And you just hear him there. Even if they jam on the back one, he feels pretty confident that with the weight he's
Speed's
going to
real
throw,
good
he'll
here,
hang in there for a second point.
Be interesting to see here. Glenn's first one moved more than they thought. He maybe he got it started because that second one looked a lot more natural than the first.
Board. Yep. Yeah.
The communication of weight, that's crucial for the line caller.
Board.
Pretty close.
Looks really
Go.
Sit. Good shot, Owen.
perfect shot.
Great shot.
Nice 3.
Yeah, that was really well played and well communicated throughout that whole shot, Mike. It was the right weight, and
Weight control is the difference at this level. Everybody can do it. They've all got the shots. I think maybe in the last end we saw maybe MacLeod's team kicked up the weight a couple of times, but this Purcell team has pretty much called these nice soft control weights on every shot they needed them, and the throwers are delivering. They certainly did that end.
Yeah, no, I knew he hit it right.
And then like if they
It's funny, there's a couple misses there on the front end. Sometimes the misses on the front end ends up, that's how you build those threes.
That's right.
Puts a little more junk out there than you're expecting, or maybe even lulls the other team into a little bit more aggressive mindset, thinking they're in a little bit better position here. And it doesn't take much to turn that around and hang a three.
Yeah, thanks. I don't really know if I actually did any.
So just some more updates on our other sheets. Got the number 4 and 5 teams over in sheet 1. Fleming against Everest. Everest came back with a single in the third, so Paul has the hammer up 2-1. In the other feature game, Team Black stole one in the second end.
Okay, go
To
ahead.
go 4-0 over Ali McNutt.
Scott's in.
And then over
Line's
on
tight, come
sheet
on,
4,
guys.
Hilliard took a single in the second end, stole
Hard.
one in the third. So McDermott is down 2-1 with the hammer
Hard.
playing
Go,
4.
go, 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 go.
Good scrubbing, Scott.
It's an exciting time in women's curling in this province. You got some teams that can really make some noise even on a national level. Christina's team is as close to bordering on a professional curling team as we've seen in this province in a while.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough to beat this week.
Yeah,
Line's good.
they're clearly the favorites in this tournament. They put in so much work, and you see the results the last few Scotties where they're, I don't know what the right way to say it, but they belong there. They're certainly certainly can compete at that high level, and it takes a lot of dedication, and they put in the hours to the sport. So they're going to be tough to knock off this week.
Yeah, they've got everything you need. I mean, Jen Baxter's been on every good team and playing under every good skip in this province, as has Christina. Carly's played a lot of mixed doubles, and she's tasted a few wins. And then Shelley, I've never seen a woman sweep like Shelley and be such a good teammate. So they will be really tough to beat. And you've got some other favorites and some other proven winners in this field that are going to give them a run for their money. I see Jill and Heather and their team out practicing all the time, and practicing hard. They actually make practice look fun.
Yeah, they rejigged their team a little bit. They're just finding themselves this year, I think. That team started up with a different lineup earlier on, and weren't finding the success they're used to, and so they seem to be finding a little bit of their mojo, if you will. So yeah, they'll contend. Those are 4 proven champions on that team. So if anybody can give Black a run for their money, I think that team could.
Momentum is a funny thing with curling. You can. It doesn't take much to really turn around a season. I remember one of our best seasons in 2012. We were lucky to win this championship. We had a really hard time trying to figure out a new team for the entire first half of the season, and we qualified through the C bracket in zones. But something happened, team bonding up in Amherst, where all of a sudden we just started to roll after that, and you start to believe in yourself a little bit, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Whether you're down 4 in a game or you've had a tough 3 or 4 events leading into your most important week, all the practice you put in, it pays off eventually, and you hope that you've done the things to line it up so you can peak this week.
Okay, line's
Is that with Jamie, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2012
Line's
with
real good.
I played with Jamie Murphy and Jordan Pinder. I played
good.
second, and Donald McDermott.
Right.
And
That's okay.
we were really lucky.
No,
We were
not
great
Adam.
friends.
Not yet.
We were underdogs, but we practiced a lot, and we practiced
can
hard.
whenever.
And Murph made sure that nobody was outworking us out there, and it added up to
Definitely
beating
punch slow.
Mark Dacey in that final, which was something
win.
that I'll never forget.
Yeah, I bet. Murphy's stepped away from the game. I haven't heard from Jordan. Whatever happened to Jordan? Is he still playing? Or?
Yeah, Jordan is he's up in Miramichi raising his family. He's a photographer up there.
Yeah.
He still gets picked up from time to time to scare everybody else in New Brunswick.
Right.
The kid can really throw.
He can.
And when he played with us, there was nobody throwing it straighter and harder and sweeping harder than number 2, as we called him. Jordan was a really awesome teammate. And between him and Murph, they could make everything. The runbacks and the doubles that I had the pleasure of sweeping, certainly made my life easier.
Well, that was one of the things, like for Murphy, was just his ability to understand the shot and the angles, and like he just, you know, I think you made the comment that that isn't what that isn't what you do great in the game, but he certainly does, and you know, all the best ones have that ability to do that. So
I think it jams here.
yeah, so I'm lucky to have the Mike with me today. He's the expert. He's been to the Briar. I mean, twice. I thought
What if we just did this?
sure if there was a third time or not. I knew there was.
We were lucky. My parents curled at this club at Halifax, so I remember being here as a little kid, and we were lucky enough in 2014 to win our second title after finishing runner-up in 2013. And this is a really special spot to play Tankard. I know all the players are excited. I know how I felt in 2014, and I know how it felt to win here. And
Same weight.
there's
Good. Adam's in.
really no curling clubs with this kind of history and tradition, and to be able to think that you added a little bit to that and had one of the best curling weeks of your life out on this on South Bland Street here is, you know, it's almost, I don't want to oversell it, but it's like winning at the old course in St. Andrews in golf kind of thing. It's a place where you'd love to be able to remember fondly as a championship venue.
Yeah, it's got a bit of history. First ever Briar winners from the club. First ever National Scotties winner from the club. So a lot of history.
Is it heavy?
And
Is it heavy? Yep.
Now you've got me distracted from the game here.
yeah.
Whoa, then, whoa.
I'm 10 years removed from that final win now. I realized as I pulled in here today, so that's why you see me in the booth and not on sheet 8 right now.
Well, our parking situation is probably exactly the same way that it was in 2014, I suspect.
Identical.
Yeah, good hot.
Maybe if we can solidify this long-term contract with Ocean as the title sponsor, we can work out a deal to pave it.
Yep, there's an idea. There is an idea.
Some nice shots being made this end as we chat along about former glories. Everybody's making some shots here.
A lot of pressure. Purcell's putting some pressure on them. Needs this one to curl a bit, though. Looks like it might be on the.
Come on, Scott. Come on, Scott.
Might get it on. It's going to be tight. I don't think so.
Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, we got an interesting setup here now.
Yeah, not completely horrible. He moves that one over and sets up a stagger of center guard. So
Do that.
Yeah, this end's going to get interesting when it's when you start to see this kind of shrapnel out front. Speaking of Murphy and taking a line that he used to love, really anything can happen here. There's nothing straightforward about this end. We're into the audible version of the end.
Normal, yeah. Normal.
Interesting call here by Glenn. I think normal's a lot of weight for the shot. I think if he hits it perfect, he might be able to spin that second yellow into the house if he just chips it over.
Tin double?
No.
Tin double?
Oh, it's too late.
Not quite, eh?
Okay.
Roll back 4, I guess.
Craig, I think Craig's struggling a little bit out there today. He's
It seems like he's his miss is the overthrow right now, and I don't think it's nerves or anything along those lines. But I think it is the natural tendency when you come out here to just have that your heart rate's a little up, your adrenaline's pumping a little bit, and certainly more than it does in practice. And to just kick that fraction harder, you can't always feel it in your feet, but you can see it in the result.
Same weight.
That's where you just got to make sure you can stay within striking distance for the first half, so that you can hold.
Yeah, he'll turn that around for sure.
It's not if, it's when. But he's not the only one here. We're seeing a few overthrows, and generally the only misses we've seen so far are a little heavy and wide.
Yeah,
That's fine.
it's
You just said you were a little wide, that's all.
I know. Part of me said it's really great ice to watch, just in a sense of that weight is so critically important.
You can get over here.
You got to get that
So normal again.
you got to get that quiet weight in order to make those shots. Otherwise, it's going to run straight. So
Still a good outcome from Ryan's last rock there. They've got 2 under cover where they want them, keeping the pressure on MacLeod. This one's got to be
looks
hard.
like it's-
That would be your worst case miss.
That is a bad situation there. You leave the center line guard up
Result is
there and
probably that, right?
don't get rid of that rock.
I don't
So
really like guarding. Oh, let's see that. Just for 4. Ideally, we just
Yeah,
take it
after
right
taking
now.
the 3,
If this is hard enough, we might
you
just
think
take it.
Owen can taste the blood in the water right
Right.
now. He's looking to put the pressure on big
I'm
time
not
now.
close.
So you get a couple options, Mike. He could put the center line guard up, I think, or come around. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can tuck another one here and get any piece of it buried behind their top 8 rock with throwing the, he's supposed to be an
Just like-
intern for
just
Owen. He's left.
Yeah.
He's left.
He's
He's
free.
confused me.
He's going to draw either in turn.
But yeah, I like, regardless of the turn,
Yeah.
So like a runner or
tucking one in there, top 4, maybe just
Yeah,
touch
I
the
mean,
tee
yeah.
line. It's got to be high enough though that Glenn can't come down and freeze
Right.
to it. That would be the out here for Glenn. Is he'd be hoping that Owen either rubs on that blue rock in the top 8 or slides a hair deep, and
Right.
that would be his get out of jail free card for this end.
Take a look. Take a look, Scott.
Guys are seeing the weights right there.
Line's good. Our line.
Line's gonna be tight to that second blue.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
It's going to rub that one.
That's a good spot though.
Yeah, it didn't roll out. So
Didn't roll out, didn't come deep.
right.
It's just more for Glenn to look at here. I don't think it affects him one way or another where that ultimately stops if there's no shot. He'll try to come around now. He, in this case, Glenn has got that whole 4 foot.
Right.
Top, back, I think it's all good here. The idea for Glenn would be to get shot and ideally sit in there, maybe tempt Owen to make a freeze, but I suspect that the next rock we see from Owen will be coming in pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, if Glenn can bury this one, even if he's biting the back 4, put some pressure on Owen.
Absolutely. I think Glenn's objective here, 2 objectives, 1 to be shot, and then I'm sure that he would love to put Owen in a situation where he needs to feel like he needs to play a draw.
Right.
Whoa!
Kev's calling it
Kevin's
there on
back
its own.
4. Yeah, it looks really looks quite warm. Looks a little bit more than back 4, and I think it's going to be. Yeah, that one is
That's not
not
Sorry, guys.
the shot that he was looking for. And Rowan can put a rock up at that block off that in-turn draw.
Bite the 8.
Len's going to have some struggles. He could
quite the lens
certainly
you got there.
certainly can get around to the 4 foot on the O-turn, just the edge of it. You certainly can get there, but this will put a lot of pressure on Glenn.
Just right here.
They can really complicate the
Yeah,
lives of
sliver
Team
more
MacLeod
ice
here
is
with
probably
a,
okay,
if
like-
they could put it on the
You want to be
end
almost on like
of curling
Right.
up there would be pretty darn good.
Like
Pretty
he can
tough.
probably hook it in with the half rotation wide.
But then again, if we're too wide, he might have the out turn, right?
I would let him throw that. No one's really throwing a draw to the wing in that path. Like
There's a fraction more. Yeah, I like that thought process. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a smart call by
You're gonna be a little
Adam.
slower out here, right?
You can't
Maybe
block.
but
You're going
probably
to have to
not.
leave Glenn to draw somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you can put it on the in or
This is-
G,
this is light
I think the G is actually not a bad spot. We'll really make that tough in-turn draw.
Well, yeah, you take it away completely with
Yeah,
that corner
almost.
that's sitting out there.
Yeah, almost takes away. And to Owen's credit, give him the O-turn wide draw. Nobody's been there yet.
Top 4.
Saying this one's a little warmer than they want.
Yeah, it surprises me. We really haven't seen anything light at all game. Everything's been thrown all the way there.
Looking for a little rub now.
Still
Plan
might do the
B.
job, though. It might take that in-turn away completely from Glenn.
Yeah.
Where are we going to run out of? At least we're coming
I
into
always
range
hated those
versus,
draws thrown against
in
multiples
the
when you're
rings.
running
When you're
away
running
from where
away
you
from
want to
the
be.
rings, yeah.
I think this is the benefit of throwing the draw to the button. I think Glenn's going down here with a bit of confidence, knowing he's taking about 6 or 8 inches more ice than he's got in the draw to the button. Maybe give it a little extra rotation to keep it a little
Okay,
bit
we know
straighter
this
out of the
one.
gates and see if they can drop it right on the tee line and get out of here with a 1.
Yeah. It is a little wider. It's about a few inches outside where his draw to the button was. So it'll be
Almost a
interesting.
full rock wider.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this runs.
It's a tough one to throw after being heavy with the rock before, too. Because in your head, you're thinking you want to take a bit off, but you know you're going wider. I like leaving this one to the sweepers a little bit.
Wade's good. Line right now. Just line for now.
Whoa!
Whoa, Pete. Whoa, Pete. Whoa, Pete. Whoa, Pete.
It's a little
Whoa, Pete. No, no.
warm,
Can't
Kevin's
touch it.
indicating.
Gotta let it come down. Gotta let it come down. Gotta let it
Looks
come
like
down.
it's starting to finish, though. Well,
Get in
I
there.
think that's
Great
why
draw.
he throws the last
Great
rock.
draw.
Nice rock. Nice rock. That was not an easy task.
No,
That
definitely should've done in hindsight.
that's a different path than what he was throwing for the draw to the
Tap that
button.
fucker
And you know, Kevin was calling. You certainly don't need to sweep it now, but it certainly came down, Mike. And beautiful draw.
Because
That's I'm trying to keep some scoring here in these for this game, and that's the second star that I've put beside
so
Glenn,
was I.
and both of them were on
He
draws.
just knew he was going to
Right.
make it. As the
Really, really nice
No
there.
one
I
else
mean,
was gonna
it's
make
almost the
something.
game's on the line. I hate to say that the
Just
game's on the line in the fourth end of a 10-man game, but with that draw against 3, there was a lot of bad outcomes sitting in that 12-foot.
Yeah. You're going out to a different path. You never know what can happen, and didn't want to give up anything there. So great draw. 4-2 game.
Our guys are going to take some chances, and if they get some misses, let's capitalize on it.
And I think I read in some of the player profiles, I think one of Glenn's biggest moments was, is that where I read it? Was it Glenn who had
Stole 3.
stole 3 down a few, and so this
Easy,
team
that's
of
gonna
veterans
overcurl.
have seen every scenario, so they're not
Just be
Keep it on
cautious
center
with the
line.
set
They're not
when
gonna
we
be
start throwing
frazzled,
tees.
so-
Whoa,
Speaking of veterans,
It's not
we
grabby
do have a
ice,
sheet here on their years
it'll
curled,
track
and I
'em.
added it up, and there's 168 years of curling combined on this MacLeod squad, which is really unbelievable. That's a ton of rocks and a ton of games played.
Way more.
They're certainly not phased by being down 2, but they're definitely feeling the pressure of either they're going to want to try to hold Purcell here to 1 or get a steal to reel this in a little bit.
yeah.
I got good. Line's in.
I always loved stealing going into the
Line's
5th end
good.
break.
Line's
Scoring
good.
period. It just felt good when you know
Yeah.
you're going to have a little bit of break
Right,
here.
right. It's a
Line's
nice,
good.
nice little momentum.
Yeah.
Got a crawl.
Strategically, you'd rather score in the even ends, and if it's holding hammer or something, hold it for the 6th. But there's just something about when you have that 4-minute
shot.
break and you just the points went to you. It just feels good.
Got another update over in sheet 1. Another veteran team of Paul Fleming. I don't know if the top-ranked teams are scared, but they probably should be. That's a veteran team, and they took another 3
Line's good.
on in the 4th end to go up 5-1 over Team Everest.
You
Paul
want to
Fleming
keep-
coming off the big national seniors win, getting to represent Canada. What an exciting time for that team. Fantastic outcome there. So
He had Peter Burgess, who's on his men's team, also on that senior team, along with Marty Gavin and Chris Grancelli. 4 guys that just absolutely love the game.
Right.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of curling with all of them. I've never played on a team with Peter.
yeah,
but nobody loves curling more than Paul and Chris and Marty and the entire Burgess family. So that's really quite a win. It'll be the first time for Paul wearing a maple leaf on his back
Wow.
in his really nice cherry for his curling career, although he'll probably tell me it's not the cherry yet because he's not done. He's an incredible competitor. Really happy to call him a friend, and I have at least a couple of wins against him lifetime, but I'd certainly rather have his record than mine.
Come around with the intern. Yeah, okay.
Came up a little light there.
Line's good.
I find with the 4-rock, or sorry, the 5-rock rule, the second stone position, which was my most common role on the team, has changed quite a bit. It's become a lot more of a finesse role, and you have shots that really swing the end. Like this shot here by Chef is really, really good and just crucial for how this end's going to build.
Yeah, so previously, you're right, Micah, you'd always put your big hitter at second, and you used to hide your weaker player at lead, and so you can't hide anybody anymore, right? Your lead's got to put those rocks in play, and now your second has to have all those finesse shots as well.
Everybody's got to be able to bang it, other than the lead, but yeah, I mean, if you had the spot to put your hardest thrower, it's moved to the third position now. Scott made a lot of racket there. I don't know if he did a lot of good.
Not a lot has changed.
No, I think they were trying to take those two yellows off the front, and then he just made a whole lot of noise over nothing.
He's calling for the card. Okay, it is still early.
I'm not sure what to score that one. Do I be nice to him or do I be hard on him? We'll call that a 1, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's probably a 1. Update on sheet 4, McDermott comes back with a deuce in the fourth end to go up 3-2 over Team Hilliard. That's a number 4 playing a number 5. And so just for an awareness, teams, once they qualified, all self-seeded, and so the teams all got to vote on who ranked them the way they wanted to, and that's how they came up with the final rankings. So, which I kind of like.
Usually they don't let you seed yourself because that's an automatic number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed, that's right.
Unless you're incredibly kind and a nicer person than me. We actually had this conversation about the men's, the club championships, and we were comparing self-seeding notes going into our club playdowns. And Chris Crancelli let me know that he actually seeded according to who was the better team. And I said, there's no chance. I'm putting myself number 1 every time they let me.
No, they were going to cross the top and getting the yellow one in the top of the 4th.
Okay. Oh. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. 2/3 probably.
If I do the quick math, it was 168 years of curling for Team MacLeod, 73 for Team Purcell, and old man Zachary is really dragging up the average with 27 years of experience. Curling since he was 11 years old, he's really dragging up that average.
Yeah, it's quite funny when you're, what is it, 38, I think
38.
he is? Yeah, 38 to be the old man on the team.
Yeah, by quite a bit.
By quite a bit. It really says a lot about Nova Scotia junior curling, and we really pound above. We punch above our weight class, I think, at the junior level a great deal. So not surprising you get teams like Manuel and Purcell who are already at the top of the game in the men's game in the province because they have been at the the top of the game in the country. So hopefully it'll pay some dividends. We certainly punch above our weight class nationally at the junior level. So and at that senior level, you just got to keep playing, and that's why you see teams like Purcell. That schedule they have is pretty enormous, and it takes a lot of dedication. but to play at that level, you got to play all the time.
The junior curlers now have tremendous access to high-level competition, whether it's university games or U18s or Canada games, more, and then just great coaching. So when they're so coachable and moldable in terms of your delivery and how to play the game and how to sweep and how to be a good teammate, you're right. Nova Scotia's got some great players who've now transitioned into their early 20s and have the opportunity to be great on a national stage. We'll see if they can stick with it, and because that desire to travel and the time commitment, it takes a big toll. Always flying from the East Coast here, and we've really only seen a couple of teams, and most of them are named Brad Gushu, who've been able to come out to this East Coast and really dominate nationally. But the talent is there. That Manuel's team and Stuart Thompson's team and the team we're watching here today, Owen Purcell, they've got all the shots. It's just a matter, can you get their reps against those top teams on surfaces and in conditions that are similar to what you'll play when you do go into those slam events and Briars and Canada Cups and things along those lines.
Yeah, and despite all the efforts of our ice maker Adam, who's probably the best, one of the best, if not the best in Atlantic Canada, you just can't replicate entirely the ice conditions that you'll see at the Nationals.
So we can get a little better angle here, or just get.
They got to get those. They got to get those reps in. Speaking of some of our junior success, Mike, a couple of our junior players are on the mixed team that are going to the 2024 Winter Youth Olympics in Korea. The run from the 19th. What is today? The 16th, isn't it, or something like that? So in 3 days, 17th, 2 days. So they're probably already on the way there, or there already, I suspect. Nathan Gray from Dartmouth and Owen Fisher from Truro. I believe they played together on. I think it's Kalen McIsaac's team at Truro. I think they're the reigning junior champs. I'm pretty sure, but those two members have. Or they won the Canada Games, I believe, last year. They were two of the members on that team, and I think Helen Radford is one of the coaches, also from Nova Scotia. So just a sign of success we've had at the junior level, and we wish them all the best of luck representing Canada in Korea.
I saw they were out practicing beside us the other day, and we had Helen as a coach for our first Briar. They're in great hands with her. I'm sure that team will do extremely well. They look great out there on the ice, and anytime you get to wear a maple leaf on your back and represent this province, pretty cool. And I'm assuming Ali Iskew on that team.
You're right.
Has to be a product of Blaine and Beth, who, that's practically Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Beth's originally, I think, from Truro.
From Truro,
played with Meredith Doyle, I believe, years ago, and met Blaine here. I think they met at the Juniors Nationals, and I think they lived here and now back out in Alberta. So really good Nova Scotia connection.
Love a curling romance story. A tale as old as time.
How thick is that? No, like how thin, thick?
Yeah, Beth, I believe her maiden name was Roach, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
And she was a great curler. So
Yeah,
not surprising to see that their daughter's playing at that same level. And if there's another Iskew out there and I'm wrong, then I'll blame my fact checker.
Pretty sure you got it right.
I like my chances. Nice throw by Ryan. Thinner than they wanted to hit it. I think they were trying to go over the top of that one, but that works just as well.
Yeah, Glenn's putting some pressure on them this end for sure.
A couple nice rebound shots from Craig there. We were saying that he was having a little trouble finding it. He definitely put some rocks in some good spots, played a nice little tap there as we were chatting.
He wants to hit the blue so that he can blast and get
And he'll double these, though. And then
I just love seeing how into it the players are. We can hear, I don't know how the broadcast
like if we
comes across,
what's he doing?
but Peter and Chef here talking about the shots, and everybody's into it. Everybody's looking for that slight edge, that little margin to try to make one shot a little bit better and put the other team in a little bit of trouble. I love to see it. Feed off it, actually.
Good draw. Like, what will he do if we don't do anything? Hit the middle one, nose. Probably knows the middle one.
Yeah. Might be able to play the same and go for a blank.
Yeah. I mean, we can.
Glenn's asking the question, what would you do if he doesn't throw?
Hold them to one.
I'm suspecting he'd play the actually the outside of the yellow, try to get everything out of there and try to go for the blank.
I think you're right. He can get the outside of that yellow and roll under
Roll
cover.
behind, yeah. Get rid of everything is, I think, what the shot would be.
Yeah, but I think what Glenn's looking at is that double jams on the blue.
Right.
So Glenn's just trying
Steele
to.
might be off the table now, so I mean, not completely off, but we'll
See what he does.
we'll do this and.
More weight, it looks like.
That's what I love
control,
about Glenn.
I said.
He's a realist when it comes to. I get a chance to play a little bit of golf with Glenn and curled against him a ton, and he's a very practical thinker out there. He's not playing with rose-colored glasses on. He knows that even if he makes this shot, Steele is probably not in the cards unless something extraordinary happens.
Yep. Go, Pete. You got this, Pete. Go, Pete.
On this one right away.
I'd really rather not group these stones and give Owen a chance to clear the deck.
Hard, Pete. Go, Pete. Go, Pete.
Gets rid of one of his own yellow, and the blue one goes stays in the rings. Not the shot they were looking for there.
No, and that is the spot that's supposed to be straighter. When they were throwing this direction the other way, we heard Owen say it's straight here, but that's twice that Glenn's first rock has caught a little bit of curl.
Right. That's right. Going this way, in the third end, similar rock. You're right.
Haven't we thrown like 15 in-turn hits in this exact same spot?
Now, the tendency can be to look for the rock. They were on it out of his hand. So
and haven't we
even
thrown
just
like
the way he threw it, it suggested that they wanted to hold that thing early and often.
Yeah.
One of the Purcell members, I know it was Owen, was saying that we've thrown a lot of intern. Throw the intern. That's the line they know, and makes a lot of sense. Should be able to follow that same line and should be able to still get the flop behind.
Yeah, that corner guard's really not in play.
No.
Hasn't been too many inside-out shots at all played yet this game. It's pretty much been
right. They've been all
consistently
inside out.
outside in. This one caught a little bit of curl too. That gives Glenn a chance to get out of this one with a double. Anything nose or a little roll away there would have really almost, Glenn would have had to concede a two.
Yeah, so he has a chance to get out of this, Mike, and put some pressure on Owen. He could possibly face two, but
this is a big shot. Yellow's been in control of the end right up until the last couple rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing for a steal. This would be a good one for Glennie to pick up his team, bang these two out of here, and make Owen draw against two. Huge shot, really.
Yeah, good way to go into the break and holding him to one.
That's going to have to curl.
Yeah, that one has to go to hit it, I think. I think he's got a piece of it.
That wasn't the best.
So
that's what happens when you over curl the hit before.
Yeah.
Tendency to just give it a little bit.
So Owen will have a draw to full 8 and to take a commanding 6-2 lead. Just getting some texts from some folks out there. I got a Northwest Territories Maureen Miller watching the game and giving me some feedback to see if she can hear us or not. So thanks, Maureen. Great people are tuning in to the show.
She can hear us loud and clear.
She can hear us loud and
All the
clear.
way from Northwest
all the way
Territories.
from Northwest Territories. Pretty impressive.
Ideal.
So we'll see if anybody can beat that. Shoot us a message to let us know where you're listening in from to see if our record distance is Northwest Territories right now. So
What's going on with this one?
this one is just
Boy.
way too much weight. That is a big miss, and it's a really big miss to take a single to go 5-2, and
I'd say that leaves two teams a little bit cranky going into the fifth end break.
yeah. So we'll take a little bit of a break here, Mike, and we'll come right back with more action in the sixth end with Owen Purcell up 5-2 after 5 ends of play.
I'm going to give a nod to Doug McKenzie, who would be telling the boys that the buff effect is in play here after they clean up the ice after the 5th end break. This rock is always a little bit quicker than the rest. Everybody who's ever played for, with, and around Dougie will have heard him talk about this buff effect. But there's no flies on Adam McEachern either, who knew, left it to his sweepers, and dropped it top 4 right where it belongs.
Sweep.
So it'll be interesting to see how Team Purcell rebounds after a bit of a miss on that last one, giving away a single point, but
this is where you pick up your skipper.
Yep.
Putting the first rock top 4 is ideal way to do that.
Fuck. One. What's your?
Has a chance, but
Sorry,
has a
bud.
chance. No chance
Absolute
now.
brain lapse.
The
Doesn't matter. Just throw it for the rest
remind
of the
about
game.
the 6th end.
There's the buff effect, eh?
Sure.
Yeah.
Almost like you knew what you're talking about
Oh, man.
Sliver more.
Maybe if Peter curls for a few more years, it'll sink in.
there. Yeah, I think he only has like, what is it, 40-something, 47, 46
Yeah,
years in.
yeah. Usually once you curl for 48 or
Yeah,
49
yeah.
years, you start to figure it out
You
a
usually
bit.
don't get it till then.
Amateurs, huh?
Two nice ones from Adam.
Yep. Scott was a little short on his gripper throw there. It's going to make Owen do a little bit of cleanup work.
But at least he'll find it. this
Usually
time.
front-end players don't care about making a skip work a little bit.
No.
Line's good.
You're going to be inside here because you need to get it over the
I've seen the evolution of the sweeping when they gave us these yellow heads, these conforming heads, and those top teams were
Yep, keep
treating
it
the rock
moving,
like
get it off
they
center.
were remote control cars.
Mm.
The sweeping to
Okay.
curl, the sweeping for straight, the sweeping for speed, how to make it carve. It's a game within the game.
I was talking to somebody about that the other night, and if you remember, like it just came all of a sudden one year that they were just like it just came from nowhere all of a sudden, and you could carve it. It was like a remote control they were using. I remember I had the privilege of going to Switzerland for the World Championships, and I think it was when it was at its finest, where they could just carve things in, and
Pretty high.
it was like it just came from nowhere all of a sudden, and yet people have been
Halfway
using
cut,
hair
no
brooms
one's
for a
getting
long
there.
time, right? How do we not figure this out before?
I don't know
And,
that we talk about this a lot, and you go back and you look at some of the best curling shots. Like Jennifer Jones's in-off was always to win the Scotties. Her first Scotties was always referred to as one of the top curling shots. And you go and you watch it, and I don't know who the inside sweeper was, but they were sweeping it the wrong way.
Right.
And it's totally different now. So I know in our team, we just wait and watch what Brad Gushue was doing and then copy that. They had that numbering system down for the brooms and
How heavy?
hoarding hair heads to be able, once they realized how effective hair brooms could be when
Right.
the technique was correct.
Yep. Hey! Hey! Whoa!
Is it going to get around? Nice line
Looking
call.
to get this one by, but a little warmer than they want it.
Yeah, plan B.
Yep.
Still got to try to execute plan B, though.
First shot.
Even though that's not where they called it, that is how you build a multiple score in
Right.
it, and that's like one of those very productive half shots.
And that, you can see some of the things, Mike, if you look at this level of play versus a club level of play, and just knowing where you're going to miss, how you miss, and what's the you're not going to make that shot. What's the next best alternative?
I know our team, in my competitive days, we really admired Bruce Lonis, and we'd watch him play, and we played against him a lot. And
though.
Bruce
You're not-
rarely ever put up
Your
a zero.
T-line.
It felt like every rock he threw, he might not make them
Top
all, but they
four.
were always a productive outcome that would help set up Mark for his last rocks. And that's absolutely skill. When I look across you got a 3-point gap in this game, and if I look across my score sheet here, there's definitely some zeros, more zeros that stand out on the MacLeod side. Probably accounts for a good chunk of the difference in the score. Scott doesn't seem thrilled with that one.
I don't,
really close to perfect.
Yes, sure, but I don't think that's coming
But
back.
that's why
that
this
much
game
either.
can be cruel.
He's so much more jabby now than the rest of us.
Speaking of Bruce Lonis, it's interesting. The other day I went and watched the 2004 Briar again. Every so often I'll go in and watch those shots that he made in that last end where they come back and get the three. It's if you haven't watched it, I'm sure most people have. If you haven't, go watch it again. It's really just quite incredible what happens, and pretty proud moment for Nova Scotia.
Drawing around those two staggered rocks at the top of the house and doing it twice. Furby's team didn't even see it coming.
Right, just listening to the commentary is really great, really great.
They were dead to rights. That game was over.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it's going to take a lot for people to shake hands and end the game early after that one.
A little bit of a story there. In my role with Curling Canada, I got to go to a few events, and one of them was
back 4, back 8.
I think it was the Briar in Calgary in 2015,
Back 8.
or one of the events out in Alberta, and
Back 8.
some folks got up and teased Randy Furby about his decision making in that game, and so I was speaking later in the banquet, and I said something along the lines, "Not to worry, Randy. Some of us appreciated your strategy in that end. I don't think he found it near as funny as I did, but
absolutely,
real good, bud.
That whole lineup of Mark Dacey, Bruce Lonis, Rob Harris, and Andrew Gibson should probably send him a Christmas card for some of those calls every year for the last 20 years. We've got Mark Dacey here, actually, coaching
Purcell's team.
Yeah, I saw Mark as soon as I walked in, and he's a great guy to have on your side. Mark's very, very accomplished curler. He's seen it all.
Yeah. Is there anything we can do to get that blue out of there?
Big asset for a young team, too, to have that set of eyes behind the glass in a kind of a non-invasive role as a coach where you're just here. You see the game a little bit differently when there's a sheet of glass between you. And really helps to find some of the really small edges that you can pick up as a team, whether it's, hey, you're making these shots better with this weight, or you're kind of consistently missing here or there. Mark could be the difference for this team this week.
There's a lot of talent there, just to whatever little edge you can get, right? And if it results having him here in a couple extra percentage points, those are wins, right? So
in our win here, we were lucky to have Alan Dara join us and coach us, and it's such an exhausting week, especially for the skip, to be able to have somebody else do a little bit of the thinking for you and help you with the strategy. Is a huge asset.
I did it pretty hard, though, I think.
Does it go under blue?
No, it definitely doesn't go under the blue, but I mean, to get the blue to kill her back yellow.
Alan had something like 14 provincial titles to his name, too, and comfort us by telling us that he was sick to his stomach for every single one of his finals.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a really interesting comment. One wouldn't think that, right? So
no, he said it showed that it mattered.
Right.
10-5. Curl. Hard to touch it. Hard to hit it.
This one's got a curl too. It's still in a good spot. The angles are still good, but the heavy and wide trend on the misses continues.
Everything to get us back. Oh, okay. Might have a slash double there, do you? And maybe you can keep your shooter.
to do this.
Kind of
or
like, yeah,
that.
play that with a softer weight to keep those blues in the
Control?
back of the house. I think even less, Glenn. Board weight. Yeah, he's out there for a reason.
This could certainly turn things around here, Mike. If Craig makes this shot, there's going to be a lot of yellow in play.
Yeah, he's due for a big second half, and that could be the difference for this team, no question.
Whoa. Kevin!
Saves the shooter.
Shot.
Nice shot.
Really good.
It's exactly what Kevin had said. Slash double and save the shooter. So.
God, there is.
Might be a bit of the Russ Howard effect.
the
You
only
might be
shot
sitting
there
here
is.
with a headset on and talking into it, but you do see those shots a little bit differently from behind the glass. And you'd almost love to see some of them played with a little less weight. Maybe Purcell's team is opting to throw the rock a little bit softer on their hits, but a great outcome there for Craig regardless, and turn the end around for yellow here.
10-5.
Russ Howard always loves
Okay.
playing those shots soft. All like hacks and boards.
Right.
Might be a comment on how hard he could throw the rock
That's right.
when he got down to his Olympic gold medal level.
This is an interesting shot. I think someone could argue that if you play the scoreboard, play the one that's wide open, and you don't mind giving up a deuce. But Owen's trying to hit this one and
Pretty soft.
get rid of the shot rock.
It's definitely uncomfortable hitting
He's
your
soft.
own rock
Right.
when there's 3 yellows in the house and you're up by 3.
10-5.
No roll, no roll, no roll, no roll. No,
Turned
no,
out
no, no,
perfect,
no.
though.
Shot, Owen.
Really good.
It's number one, and number 3. So not bad, but
Yeah. Well,
No,
I mean, I
MacLeod's
guess
still working on
you
his
can
deuce
come
here,
right
no
over to
question
it.
about it.
Yeah, I think so.
If he plays a little flat roll and can get over toward that blue is what he's
this is
looking at.
normal.
Right.
Like, we don't need to biff it. We don't need to biff it. We'll just stay high side.
Because for him
Well,
to hit that and roll that far, it's got to be
I guess
below.
we should, because if we don't, yeah. But we don't. We only need to move it a rock.
yeah, you don't need to get that blue out of there. You can just move it over a rock or more, a little bit more than a rock, I suspect. But you certainly could sit 3 yellows and big turnaround.
Yeah. The risk here is if you work too hard to get the double and you get that kind of
High-sided and,
middle roll where it
Right.
goes under everything, the end's over.
Yeah,
You know,
hit
Owen will
rolls
come
the
down
first.
and
Yeah,
bang that back one.
no, you're right.
It's where it's real important for Glenn to be settled on exactly the shot he's throwing. It's not kind of the roll or the double. He's got to have it firm in his mind. He wants to throw this with firm weight. He wants to go across the house and move that blue rock out into the 4th shot.
Whoa!
Stay up. Good shot.
Get out there.
Dandy shot.
Yep, really good.
And sitting 3 yellow. What a turnaround this end has been.
It's a pretty thin double in the back
Mm.
to give up 2. Not a ton of options, though. There's no triple. Great shot by Glenn to put this kind of pressure on Owen. Kind of a helpless feeling for the rest of the team. You know, you're really playing for a concession here.
Yeah, he's looking at the double and the yellows and roll the shooter out.
I don't know.
I wonder, can you get all 3
Yep,
going that way? You'd lose your shooter, but is
Yeah,
it
I
possible to
agree.
go up and come
You
across
got
the
it, bud.
top of the back one? And it might
Nice
be there,
positive throw
actually.
here.
I don't know if he hit the. I don't know if he hit the outside
Get
one.
the
did he?
top one, you probably get the back one.
I think you can touch all 3 rocks. It's just
Okay.
whether they all go. It's really hard to come across the top of that back rock. It's always thinner than it looks. It's always harder to come across the top than you think. But Owen would know that.
Hey, good shot.
It's fine, Owen.
He'll take that. He'll take his double and give up a draw for the deuce for Glenn.
That's good, Owen. Yeah.
Okay, let's get this one.
Now see here, even a little mental edge here after Owen had a
Everything's the
chance for the
same.
draw for 2 in the last end. Glenn comes down and there's a little bit of something. You put this right on the pin, cover that Ocean Contracting
Right.
logo and say, we're not going away, boys.
Right.
This is a 1-point game here and we just scored in the even ends. That's game on.
I'm not sure how many times he's thrown this and practice. It was his draw to the button shot, and we've seen him make this shot a few times. That pistol he had in the fourth, and Mike facing a bunch.
Yeah,
He drew to the edge.
If any of our viewers here go up and Google back pocket, they might find a picture of Glenn throwing this shot here right now. He's got that one down good.
Yeah.
Sweepers take it into the top 8, and that's a good deuce.
Yeah, he gave that to his sweepers and the seepers. No mistake on that one. And we now have a 1-point game. What looked like could have been a possible blowout is now not. And 5-4 match. And Purcell's going to have the hammer playing 7, but only up by 1. And I'd say MacLeod has a bit of momentum right now. So
Yeah, settle in, folks. We've got a game now. That's the last thing that Purcell's team would have wanted. Coming out of that 5th end, they did score a point. They didn't get the 2 that they wanted. And now all of a sudden you got Glenn's team gets a nice deuce. After really only one kind of half-shot miss by Ryan Abraham. Ended up, even though it still looked okay after that, it really set up the points for MacLeod's team. And these guys have a little pep in their step now.
That was a 5-minute end.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they rebound. You got to shake it off, and you can't do anything about those old shots and move on. And you're playing well. You know, like you said, it was only a half miss by Ryan, and turned that end around completely. So not playing bad. Updated sheet 4. Team Hilliard blanked the 5th, took a deuce in the 6th end. They're up 4-3 over Team McDermott.
Good one, Peter.
McDermott with the hammer playing the 7th end. On sheet 1, Team Fleming just took a single in the 6th end to go up 6-2 over Team Everest. Everest has the hammer playing the 7th end. Sorry, down by 4, and Christina Black is proving why she is the #1 seed, up 7. I think it's 7-1 over Team Ally McNutt.
Little education there for the younger team on sheet 2. The McNutt team. They know who they're going up against, and if you're going to draw a team like Christina, you probably would like to get them first.
Yep.
But Christina's showing why they're pro.
Yeah, I was talking to Ally McNutt's team coach, Teresa Breen, at the break there, and said team's not playing bad. It's just a little miss here, a little miss there, and that makes all the difference against Team Black. And I think talked to the McNutt team before they entered, and I think their goal this year is the provincial juniors, and using this as a sort of as an opportunity to get some really good games in. And so
it's important for these young teams to see the bar that they're striving for.
Right.
You know, and this an experience in a game, even if it doesn't go your way, as we saw on our end, a half a shot can make the entire difference in the end. So a little rock placement, maybe a little bit of weight control with younger teams. They work on that. They're certainly learning from some of the best that this province can produce on the women's side. Peter came up a little light there, giving Purcell's team a chance.
Wider line though.
And I don't think I'm being generous with my scoring, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm not superstitious. Adam has really not missed a shot yet. He is playing beautifully with those first 2 blue rocks.
Yeah, Adam is a solid player, and I think
No,
one of the things that
no.
sometimes doesn't come through, on broadcast, and that is just his input. I know Owen looks to him a fair bit on his thought process. He sees a lot. He sees angles really, really well, and he's a heck of a player.
It's part of the game that is definitely underrated. Your ability as a teammate and those other factors that you bring in besides throwing your 2 rocks. People can look at the lead position and just say, well, you just got to throw center guards and come-arounds. There is so much more going on in Adam's head and in his contribution to the team, whether it's knowing the splits, knowing the rocks, knowing the paths, just watching everything like a hawk. You see these top teams and they're just busy all the time. They're never standing around doing nothing. Either they're talking about the shot before, the shot to come, cleaning the path, timing rocks. There's no end to the work.
Yeah, Adam becoming a pretty good mixed doubles player too.
What are they doing? We got 2 rocks on the button and 4 foot under, like
mixed doubles.
definitely,
Partner
I don't think
Mary.
double heel, maybe back here.
I think they were runner-up at that recent Big Spiel,
no,
and
over there, yeah.
CFB. We had some of the top world teams in mixed doubles here, and
back 8, back
they fared
12,
fairly
so.
well in that. Made it to the championship final.
Is that too much ice?
No, I don't.
You're seeing Team Purcell highlight your point, Hugh. Owen was looking at the setup, feeling pretty good about it, and the first one to chime in there was Adam about, hey, let's just put this in the back here somewhere inconspicuous where they'll leave it alone, set ourselves up for a big
Gotta
end.
be heavy though. Oh, jeez. Weight's good. No, you're just top 4. Really gotta go. T-line.
Little lighter than they'd hoped. They wanted to bring this back.
Watch it, Rod.
And take this far back as possible.
That's good sweeping.
Nice sweep.
That's huge to get that to the T line. I think Scott's searching for it a little bit. He's a pro; he'll find it,
Yeah.
but he seems like he's not 100% settled on the draw weight just yet. Oftentimes, too, one of the challenges that you don't see is the second stone often gets stuck with the rocks that might be the cutters or the ones that are a little bit slow, which requires a little extra adjustment on Scott's case.
Room! You got room!
I'm giving him an out there, Hugh,
Yeah.
On why he might have been light or over curled on a couple of these.
No,
in the last couple
I think
ends.
it's a really valid comment, though. A lot of people
Okay.
don't think of those sort of things and think every rock is exactly the same, and they're not, right? And so if you have one bad rock, you got to put it somewhere, and so
Keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah, it's most important that they're matched for speed. The skip can work with if they curl different amounts. Usually the skips or the leads will take a cutter.
right.
But more importantly than anything, you want your 2 rocks to be matched for speed so that you're not thinking about,
Right.
I'm throwing
The
the
weight,
slow one
yeah.
here. Sometimes in second stone position, speaking from a little bit of experience, you don't have a choice though. You know, okay, this rock is 2 to 3 feet slower, and especially in Scott's situation, he's got to get it all the way back in the house behind
a double underneath of our
T-line. And that's extra stuff going on in your brain when you just want to be able to kick out and throw the split that everybody else is throwing.
hack board.
Board, weight's good.
Roll it.
Nice throw there.
Really good. Weight control has been awesome
Really
from this
great.
team so far.
Nice shot by Scott there. That a lot of blue ones there, Mike.
Yeah, that was really all Chef could do too, to put it on the tee line
Right.
around there, and starts to feel a little scary on Team MacLeod side when you're making full shots and you're still giving Purcell the advantage, and that is a lot of blueberries in there.
Yeah, you don't have the hammer, and you're looking to run. You're looking to run center line guards back, and
normal.
I saw in Craig's bios he has a love for blueberries. I know there's a family connection there. I don't think he likes the 4 blueberries in the house
no,
right now.
no.
Whoa.
As expected, Craig has picked it right up ever since the fifth end. He's been making some nice shots for Team MacLeod.
Yeah. You know, the Burgess family, as you said, was, you know, sort of like one of the premier curling family in the province, really, to be quite frank. And Craig was probably the most famous one until his daughter comes along. And
11.
And Carla's success has been quite spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, she's elevated herself to the point in the game where if she wasn't at a Scotties, you'd be asking where is she?
Yeah.
And playing with Jennifer Jones, I mean, what an education. A great shot there.
That is a really wonderful shot there. So again, if you have the hammer and you're forcing the team trying to steal to run back center line guards, you're doing something right in this end. So,
I mean, it's a long shot on a double run back, but the angles are there actually for a great shot here for yellow if Craig can pull it off. Looks like it needs to curl. That's too bad. I think the hit and roll, I still maintain, is the most devastating shot at this level.
I don't really
like you see it from Ryan there. If you can make those hit and rolls a couple of times a game and really put rocks in spots where the other team can't follow it or chase it.
What, like a third of it? You can make it with like board.
It's a big separator.
I think you just guard the yellow. I don't think you want to freeze. There's a better chance you line it up if you.
Yeah, I like the comment from Adam. I don't think you need to hit that yellow. It's he freezes half of that, takes that whole angle away. It's going to be tough for you know.
Yeah.
Glenn only has 2 shots left, and
he's
in trouble.
2 rocks to get out of this.
Right.
And the really precise guards. It's just not something teams practice at.
Lane's good.
You know, like
tight.
When it, at least in my experience, not very many oftentimes you're practicing and you're trying to put a guard right on a specific spot, unless you're throwing that tight center. Trying to throw something 2.5 feet off the center line and throw it right to size the spot of a dime like that is tough. That does not make for a sexy practice when you're throwing precise corner guards. You'd rather be out there banging and drawing the pin.
Right. Well, Glenn is looking. Glenn doesn't have a lot of options. He's going to have to freeze that in there, and can't afford to bounce off at all.
Can't afford to do much. To be honest.
You gotta
no margin there. You'd love to be able to get some contact on those blue rocks via the double peel, but that's a long shot, and if you miss that,
this is our best outcome
you're in
if
big
we
trouble.
can make it. This peel guard.
Putting it there, I mean, Purcell will happily take a deuce. If Glenn puts it right there, it's going to be hard for him to cut Owen down to less than 2.
Well, you know, it's a heck of a shot, a heck of a tough shot to give him 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's all you're doing. To your point, Owen will put up a guard, and then we'll say, okay, I'll get away with it. But 2, but this is not an easy shot, and
probably that. Like that's our
can't afford to bounce because Owen hits it out and rolls in behind himself, and now you're facing 4.
Yeah.
So
highlights are point 2, where you're just talking about the MacNutt team. I'm looking at the score sheet, and there was a bit of a miss on the double run back there by Craig, and Peter had come up light on his second rock. But that's just it's just a product of Purcell's full shots being better outcomes than the full shots that Team MacLeod's making this end.
So Glenn has had his draw weight in his back pocket, so he's going to need it again here. A lot of pressure.
This is his toughest draw of the game.
If he makes it, you're going to put a couple stars, I think, on this one. Like,
we'll circle it.
Yeah.
Except he's still in a world of hurt and trouble, even if he does
even if he makes a perfect shot.
Yeah. Nobody said skipping's easy.
close.
A lot of pressure on the sweepers here too. Forget the the whole team senses the urgency
Yeah, it's a
here
team
and
shot.
need to put it right on the right spot.
We're good. Wait.
Got all the weight it needs. If anything, it's going to be a little warm. It's going to bounce off.
That's trouble.
Yikes.
If you're Owen, I think it's almost just peel it out.
Aren't you just
Oh,
letting
I-
him make that same freeze
Yeah.
again, though?
You're letting them make the same freeze, but you're guaranteeing a deuce, so it's not the worst case.
Yeah, I think that's like, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, they're debating if we draw in there first, we'll really give Glenn nothing.
Yeah, if they hit and roll out and Glenn makes a shot, then they're only getting
If you go
deuce.
right here.
They're saying if they go there, they're potentially really good chance of getting 3.
If we're right here, what's he gonna do? Nose it and jam it? Well, then we'd still be sitting 2.
I like the hit and flop over.
We actually might be sitting 3 potentially if we're like.
If I could ever top this just a little bit and sit here.
Yeah, but I think your miss, even if you throw it here, is still pretty good. No, I know. That's why I'm not saying go to nose here. I'm saying go to like here. If you're short, like it's like you said, it's still a guaranteed whatever. 2.
Well, hopefully those watching can pick up the on-ice mics as well, as it's an interesting conversation that I felt very unqualified to interrupt. This is purely a risk tolerance for a team. I think they feel pretty comfortable with where they're at, and they
Do you
feel
get a
like they
time
can
on his, Scott?
probably win this game right here if Owen makes a pistol
Yeah,
and
the
sticks it in there.
Speed's really good still
They're
here.
not
It's
thinking
still
about
like
the outcomes of a
14-6, like,
potential miss. I think that's a lot of confidence in
Right.
the skip, a lot of confidence in the ice and the
if
sweepers.
you're top
That
12, it's still
they
good,
know he's
right?
going to be close, and anything close here puts Team MacLeod in a pile of trouble.
Wait, it's real good. Little heavy.
T.
Top 4.
Like the Ford heavy, it's almost more of a line shot, to be honest. What you don't want to do is bounce off that blue in the middle and
Right.
give Glenn a window, any kind of window to chip and roll inside.
Top 4.
They were calling heavy, and they're on it hard now.
Looks like exactly where you put it.
Looks pretty
Dandy shot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's big trouble.
Yeah. That's why he's the #1 seed. I wasn't sure if that was the right shot or not. I was thinking hit and flop over and giving it to Glenn, but Owen says, you're not going to do it, I'll do it for you. And
Well, we're rooting for a
Yikes.
close game here. We want to see Glenn make something, but what I did find interesting, they were calling that heavy out of his hand, and it really seemed
Right.
to grind in coming in. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a slide path might be slowing down a little bit, or maybe it was just the adrenaline and the sweepers thought it was
Run
coming
the
a little bit
blue
hot
into
out of
the
his
yellow,
hand.
into the blues.
Got this lead. Here we go.
Chef the eternal optimist.
yeah.
No choice but to be optimistic here. This high side on the nose, Glennie, rip it. Hope for the best. Well, close. All you can do is sigh on that one. Hit it perfect.
Yeah,
Just there was nothing there.
He probably hit it the best he could, and Owen is going to have
tapping
a.
less risky, or
Owen's going to have a
yeah?
draw to the forefoot for a big 4 ender.
No, I know, yeah.
A little bit of a nerve-wracking. I mean, if you're going to have a draw to 4, you'd prefer not to have the yellow one there, where if you
Right.
wear it
It's
a
the
little bit
same
wide
weight.
and heavy, which we've seen more than once in this game.
Yeah, well, he indicated maybe the tap on the blues and maybe an easier.
This is, well, it's redemption for Owen.
Yeah.
This is where he missed
Yeah.
the draw
Right.
in 5 by being a little wide and heavy. So
Yeah.
hopefully learn from that.
It's similar to what he just did. They're the same weight. You should be pretty darn close. Taking a little less ice.
Easy from our
Weight's good.
seats.
Hey, we don't miss a thing from here.
Top 4.
It's the best I've ever curled.
Top 4. Weight's good. Straight. T. Weight's good, Brian. Weight's good.
No mistake on this one, Mike. A big 4-ender.
I'm okay with crashing on this. I'm not okay with. Great shot, Owen.
Yeah, big 4 for Team Purcell. Great end. Excellent hit and roll there from
We'll have to talk about what to do there.
Abraham.
'Cause if
So
you're
after
screaming room and we need to
maybe
sweep,
a half
like, we
shot
need
in
to
the
do
last end
something.
that he wanted back, he makes a beautiful hit and roll into the pile that really put MacLeod's team out of commission after Adam McEachran had put 2 absolutely perfect lead stones out there. That's how you get 4.
I don't know. You're kind of keeping track of the score, but did anybody miss a shot on Team Purcell that end? I don't know if they did.
I think I was a little hard on Scott and gave him
Okay.
a 3, but
Okay.
yeah, some 4s with the star
Right.
across the board on Ryan's, Ryan's hit and roll.
Yeah, so great end and takes complete control of this game, leading 9-4 after 7 ends. And yeah, Glenn didn't have much, and he hit that one as probably best he thought he could. And
Yeah, there's nothing there. When you get them set up like a 4-leaf clover like that in the 4-foot, you know that there's at least 2 of those rocks are staying around no matter what you do.
well, we do have an update on sheet 1. Fleming was running away with it. It's up 6-2 and gave up a 3 in the 7th end. Everest is only down 1, 6-5 after 7. And McDermott rebounds with her own deuce in the 7th end over on sheet 4 to take a 5-4 lead over Team Hilliard. And the only other draw on the ice, Team Black is keeping control of their game, still up 7-2, playing the 7th end over Team Malley McNutt.
It's big 3 and 7 for Everest's team.
Yeah.
This is where every single one of the players out there is wondering, you know, we don't play any 10-end games, and you're wondering, geez, you know, if you're behind, you're glad it's 10. If you're like Team Purcell or Team Fleming, you're like, let's get this game into the house here.
Nope.
Let's 8 ends is perfect. What's your view on that, Hugh? How long do you think these 10-end games will hang on?
I don't think it's going to... I think this is probably your last quadrennial for it. I think you're going to see the world go to 8. But could be wrong. I thought that a few years ago.
Yep.
Looked like there was I went to a World Curling meeting a few years back, and it looked at that time we were going to get there, and we kind of pushed to keep it at 10, and we kept it at 10. But I don't know. Part of me still thinks it's going to go to 8. And some people are saying no now. I'm not sure.
Most of the curlers that I've talked to, now that they have the 5-rock rule and the tick rule, because it used to be the case where if it was just 8 ends, if you let one of the top tier teams like a Botcher or a Gushu get a deuce in the first end, they'd win disproportionately. Right. And I think maybe that has come back a little bit. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a deuce in the first doesn't seem as automatic as a win as it did in the 4-rock rule.
Right.
I vote 8.
Yeah, so do I. You know, it's funny, in club play, we have gone on Monday nights to 6 ends. That's all they play. That's what the schedule says, and it's our most popular night. Yeah. It's people like the 6 ends. And to be quite frank, on our competitive nights, which are normally 8 ends, rarely do they ever get to 8. And
bell rings.
The bell rings, yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, it's free curling for our viewers. But you know, everyone from the ice maker on up would probably feel a lot more confident putting an 8-end product out on the ice.
Tight.
It's also something a lot. You know, we have to sell the game right to advertisers in TV, and the 8-end game is more conducive to a 2-hour time period.
That's right.
Fits into TV a whole lot easier as well.
But if you're coming down to the Halifax Curling Club, that extra couple ends gives you a little more time to hang out with your friends, have an extra beverage, or get a bite to eat. We're going to have some live music here this week. Friday night, I will personally vouch for Really awesome musician starting at 7 o'clock. Scotty DeCoste is coming out here to play. We bring him in for a couple events that we do golfing in the summertime. And that guy will play all night long. He is one of my absolute favorite musicians to listen to. And then on Saturday night, we have the Greg Mitchell Trio, who I've checked out at New Scotland in Dartmouth a few times, Scott Zachary's business. And they are excellent musicians as well. So this place is going to be rocking all weekend. We love that you're here listening to Hugh and I, but it's probably because you're half paying attention to work and enjoying the start of the Tankard. By the time Friday night rolls around, you want to make sure that you're here in person. And I won't take it personally if my audience drops as a broadcaster.
There you go. The other thing we have going on this weekend, folks, as well, for some of our younger fans, we do have Family Day, something we started at Stu Sells and certainly was really a crowd favorite, where a lot of the players, they takes a lot of their family time away, and this is an opportunity to bring family members down, and kids get to play and watch a little bit of curling, and just a fun time here. So certainly come down and join us. Admission is free. Something we are doing, Mike, this year, starting in the quarterfinals when the playoffs start, we're going to do our own little
way back, Peter.
New Scotland patch out on the ice. And so that's the only, those ones, there are tickets. You have to go on our website. Their tickets are selling fast. I think there's only 38 spots. You get bar service, I think, out on the ice, which is kind of a cool idea during the playoffs. And go on to our website. Also, at the same time, you can check out our 50-50. There will be a running total open to anybody. You can do it online, join the 50-50 from a distance, and participate in the 50-50 draw for the provincial championships. The winner will be drawn at the end of the week, and I think you have to be a resident of Nova Scotia to participate, but you can participate from anywhere.
Nice. The patch on the ice would be great. Players love that. They love having fans around. It's a really neat experience for the fans to be right on the ice and hear all the action. I was joking with Paul Fleming the other day when he won his first provincial title in 1999. I was a teenager, and I remember sitting out on the ice, and I could hear Paul telling Tom Federley, "Just don't burn it, just don't burn it," when they were trying to make their final shot. It's really neat to be able to enjoy a game, be that close to the athletes at a moment that is so important to them, and it's just great for this tournament.
I don't love that. Don't you leave them in pocket?
So that one,
I
think it was Craig was trying to come around and just robbed it, and wide open rock for Ryan, and initial reaction was to hit it and sit there, and we had that input from Adam saying, "Hey, a lot better roll away. We're giving him a pocket." So smart call, and
just some nice rocks from Team MacLeod, both from Chef and Craig. But when you're down and you're trying to hide, the margin becomes very, very small on what a perfect shot looks like. And right now they're trying to hide around a bunch of blue rocks that are in the house, and that's a tough way to live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to keep you updated on the other games that are going on. I know on Sheet 1 we're not live streaming that game, but Evers came back with a 3 and 7, but Paul Fleming responds with a deuce and 8 to take a 3-point lead again. Now playing the ninth end. Same sort of thing happened here again. A little bit of rub by Craig, and you'll see Owen go down and knock that one out. Doesn't mind if he loses one of those blue ones, but just wants to get rid of that yellow.
Yeah, his team has set it up really well here. I got just a bunch of 4s for Team Purcell in this end, which is exactly what you want. After you put up a 4, the last thing you want to do is do something like my team would do and crack the door right back open for the other team and keep them alive. You want to get in for your post-game beverage at this point.
That's right. So when Mike is saying a 4, what he means is typically scoring's done at a 4-point system, Mike, I think. And
it's the wounds are still fresh, Hugh, from the club championships. A little slip there from Adam.
Slip there from,
jeez. That's one where you just hold one finger in the air and you apologize to the other team,
That's right.
saying, "Hey, I made my shot. Sorry, I had to come off my corner guard." Not entirely sure what happened there.
I don't know if it picked or with Adam's reaction, it looked like it did something. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a little
It's busted in there.
comedy errors in a couple
Yeah.
levels on that. But regardless, it worked out well for Owen. They're laughing about it because they can, as you can with a 4-point lead when you get rid of a yellow rock that you didn't actually hit. But we do have a little bit of the Furby stagger here that Glenn can hide
That's
a rock
right.
around. We're set up for the
What do you
big
think?
skipper's
It's about the
deuce.
same? Like I had one that I threw a little heavy here early, and then Craig's just seemed to be dying. I'm just going to do the same. Yeah.
Your chef there giving Glenn the information there. They were both talking about Craig's rocks that were grinding when they came into the house, and the information that Chef gave to Glenn was that it might have come back about a quarter second. So quarter second would be the time between the hog lines, I would imagine. It accounts for a couple of feet for sure.
that one's out there a little bit.
Wait for it.
They're kind of hoping this one behaves like Craig's rocks did, really kind of cut and dive.
This one's a little warm, I think, Mike, and
It's got a lot
starting to
of
come
work
over now, but
Good shot.
I'm going to be looking to pick that out and keep in control of this game. So later today we have our opening ceremonies. I think those are at 5:30, and then we'll be on again for our next draw at 7 o'clock. Again, admission is free. Come down and watch some exciting curling. We'll have the remaining teams who haven't played in this draw will play in the next one. 2 men's games and 2 women's games.
It's definitely the place to be this weekend. We're right downtown Halifax, which makes for great options for people, whether you're eating here or you're taking in some of the great restaurants Halifax has. Great walking around this area if you're staying between draws and you're looking for something to do. Curling will be good. The beers will be cold upstairs. I know I'm going to try to spend as much time as I can here.
Yeah, it should be an exciting place. And you mentioned some of our live entertainment.
Pretty close to what we just did.
We should be rocking.
Routine shot from Owen. That would probably be about as bread and butter for him as you can get. Now Glenn's going to try to drop another one in here, take a point, and we'll see if they keep this game going.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this one comes to an end. Maybe you end it on a nice note and draw to the button and.
A little softer too.
Down 4 with 2 to play is that threshold, because it's not a it's when you're giving the hammer back to Purcell is the X factor here,
right?
Because it's certainly not impossible. Except Glenn would have to do a steal 2, and that's a tall order.
I think he's going to draw to a single. He does.
Nice shot, Glenn.
And the teams are looking at each other.
Did we get it?
And nope, they're going to keep playing.
Craig says the band plays on. No Velcro yet.
No Velcro yet. We'll keep playing, getting some. It doesn't hurt either. You know, this is still learning. First game. Like to get a feel for the ice.
Fortunately, you and I are paid by the end here, so
that's
this
right.
is just
right.
We're moving the bank account along.
That's right. Unfortunately, the rate per end is not very high.
Is that what you said to me? Top 4, top 8.
Yep. Keep it moving.
Good start from Peter. Touch that center line like we covered. This gives him a little extra chance. On the very off chance that Adam misses a shot this end, would be his first one all game. That cursed him, dude. Put one back exactly where he didn't want to go.
Yeah. And he's played a really strong game, though, until that one, until we curse him. But
that's the first time that he's been anything but perfect this game.
Line's good.
It's all right. You want to leave room to grow.
That's
right. It's early
right.
in the event. You don't want to peak too early.
That's right.
Save that 100% game for Sunday.
Yeah.
Is it in? Okay.
A little deep for Peter there too. So they were talking about the ice slowing down a quarter second. Sometimes that gets in your head a little bit. You see Adam and Peter both drop their rocks a couple feet deeper than they wanted. It's not always across the board that it slows down by that quarter second. Bounce back there, throws a tidy rock.
So I mentioned we're going to have another draw at 7 o'clock, and on the men's side, it'll be reigning champ Team Manual, but taking on they're the number 2 seed in this event. They're playing number 7 seed Brent McDougall, and we'll have Stuart Thompson playing Colton Steele, and that'll be an interesting matchup. The two guys played together past while and gone different ways, and so they get to play each other in the on the same sheet of ice. This
I love it.
first
Always
game.
spicy. Yeah, there's always a lot of movement. You get those top teams. There's a lot of pressure to find that right lineup. You're going to have a lot of guys who have had success together, but they also split up and they form their own teams, and that adds to it a little bit. I mean, you're ultimately just playing against the other Rocks, but you can't help it. There's going to be certain games that you circle and certain opponents that you really want to best.
I'm sweeping, Ryan.
Adam just gave Abesy the shot off, so no matter what, I got it. But it's Scott Zachary thrown, so the just clean could have been done by either he or I. Nice easy peel.
You've seen me sweep, eh?
We can all handle the just clean.
And on the women's side, we're going to have a couple of games as well. Team Smith playing against Team Adam Moss, and Team Daigle against Team Mitchell.
Nice. You know, that other men's game that you mentioned, you don't want to sleep on that one either. Brent McDougall throws a ton of rocks, loves this game, always gets fired up for this event, and he throws the rock better now than ever before. I've played against Brent for well over a decade, and he's throwing the rock really, really nice now. So it'll be a tough start for Manuel as well. It'll be a good test. They're going to have to play championship form right out of the gates to start 1-0. And with the format now being a triple knockout as opposed to the round robin, you know, you really want to get out of the gates with a win.
You want to get out with a win because you get behind the 8 ball really quickly in a triple knockout. It's really tough.
And you want to be able to work your way down through the brackets. You want to be able to get that first spot and then be able to get the B side as well.
Yeah, you know, we've all played in round robins and triples, and you're usually the first one in the round robin. You're not, you know, you never like to lose, but lose that first one in the triple,
you're not out of it, but it sets the tone for your week.
It's a tough comeback.
Yeah, you're saying, okay, we're going to have to grind in this event a little bit now, and I expect there'll be some upsets. And the top seeds don't always just cruise right to the end, and there's certainly a lot to be said about a team that had to grind through the bracket to get into the weekend.
Line's good.
What do you like the better, the round robin or the triple?
I'm biased. I won both my titles in the round robin, so
Yeah.
I felt like there was every game still mattered.
Right.
No teams were mailing it in, but I think both formats do a really good job of producing the best team. I think it's hard to argue though. The triple gives the team playing the best this week the best opportunity to win the tournament.
Right.
I do like the predictability of the round robin. I like knowing what your week looks like, when your breaks are, what your 3-game day is, and you can adjust for that.
You can plan a lot better for sure.
Well,
But Bruce Sloan is competitions director with Nova Scotia Curling. I mean, he's the right guy for the job. They've taken a ton of input from the players on how to be able to organize this event so that you have a guaranteed final on Sunday and you have good action all week long, and you ultimately you just want to organize the event so that the best team wins. And I think either format can do it, but this triple is the preference of the players.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Kevin. Peter.
Shot.
Oh, I was waiting for it.
Glenn was ready to get a couple extra steps there, sweeping behind the tee line.
So interesting fact, Glenn was our event chair for this event until he qualified.
That's right.
So he's put a lot of work in behind the scenes as well for this event. So kudos to Glenn and all the volunteers. And he had to hand it over to Greg Doyle to take over, make sure there's no conflict or anything like that. Not that there would be, but just for appearance sakes, Glenn stepped back a little bit. And
we organized a night to celebrate Team Fleming in their senior championship, and it was I think Glenn strategically, after we had a couple of beer at New Scotland, came up to me and said, how'd you like to broadcast? I think you'd be good at it. So time will tell if I'm good at it, but I'm certainly having fun here with you and being able to call the game here with a couple of friends of mine out playing. I won't lie to you, it kind of makes me wish that I was out there, but that's only when I see the fours and not so much the zeros.
well, we haven't got any calls to pull us off the air, so I think you're doing something right, Mike. So glad that you've volunteered and are helping us out this week. I know you have a few games to do this week, and I suspect it's not our last game together, but it should be an exciting week, and it is fun doing the broadcast. You get best seats in the house.
This is a treat.
Yeah.
And I think I might pick up the Saturday morning game and bring my daughter down.
Yeah.
She loves coming out and sliding. She's 8 years old. I encourage anybody. Great sport, and especially for young women, it's a great team sport, great sport to play. And I think my daughter Sadie would love to come out for, snacks and more. That's all we had to offer in the first place. The face painting and the competitive curling. It's just going to be the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Nice shot by Glenn there. They end up they got shot rock, and they got Owen in the spot where he's got to at least think about it.
Yeah.
You're not.
Update over in sheet 1. In the 9th end, we're playing the 10th end, and Paul Fleming has.
The back yellow one's never leaving, so figure.
Assume all the
Back
cameras
middle
move
yellow
over there and we
never
cover
leaving
that
the
game.
ring.
I'm not sure. By our broadcasters, and so usually things around for us, but
we'll keep people updated. The corner of the scoreboard, so in case Paul managed to get an 8th,
I just noticed on the screen you can see another Burgess, Peter Burgess, playing.
I like the odds that there's a Burgess watching it. I put a lot of money on that.
Oh, and looking to get rid of some of these yellows.
That back yellow is going to be hard to get rid of. Throw it hard.
As he said, it's not going anywhere, and
I mean,
That's all you can really ask for Glenn. He's got a choice to make here against
does,
3
yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
the only way you're really going to get back into this. I think freezing to that in any way, shape,
Yeah,
or
you're
form
You need a
going into
miss.
the 10th.
Yeah, you need a miss on this one. And yeah, you're facing 3.
okay, control.
It's an uncomfortable shot for to Glenn. It's open, and he's likely to make it. Owen will have a choice to make here. I would assume that he'd play some kind of soft weight hit where he won't roll too far.
Right.
But it's not a stretch of the
Make him look at a
imagination
bunch.
that could catch a little curl
Right.
or hang on him, and Team MacLeod could hold on for one more end. This is exactly why Craig said we're not ripping Velcro yet. We're going to make these guys earn it.
Another update over in sheet 4. Team Hilliard steals 1 and 9 to take a 2-point lead over Team McDermott playing 10. Team McDermott has the hammer.
Paul's building a nice end for himself in 10 here too. Curl a bit. Okay, we gave it to Glenn and he came through for us, so we are going to see. I would assume that Owen's going to hit that shot rock, and he is. Probably a pretty comfortable shot other than the worst case scenario outcome. That little out turn a couple feet off the center line, I think would be, with control weight, would be pretty high on the list of the shots that every curler would want. But when you're looking at 3 yellows down there, it adds to the degree of difficulty.
Yeah, Glenn's done everything he can do with this end, and
Good end by both teams, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they made a lot of
10-5.
shots. As we talked about off the broadcast, it's really hard to straight defend and not leave situations like this that are a little bit uncomfortable for Purcell's team. Owen
but
made
no
it
mistake there. Nice hit by Owen, and I think you will see handshakes here. We'll make this one a 10-5 win for Owen Purcell. The #1 seed comes through with a big win over Team Glenn MacLeod. Glenn's team will drop to the B section.
Do you want a hug too?
And
Thanks. It's feeling left out.
I'm not sure if we're going over to sheet 1, if possible. I don't know. I don't think we are. So Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, that was a great game. Really well played game by the
Yeah.
Purcell team. Lots of 4s up there. Incredible game by Adam McEachern. Owen was rock solid. They played like a team that's on a mission this week, and they're going to be real tough to beat.
Going to be tough to beat. So we'll see you again. Our next draw is at 7 o'clock tonight. In the meantime, opening ceremonies 5:30. Certainly come down to 948 South Bland Street and join us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in, folks.